One of the Targaryens from Game of Thrones history with the most brutal death should make his appearance on A Night of the Seven Kingdoms next year. 6 years after Game of Thrones ending, HBO is still exploring the history of House Targaryen through exciting spin-off series, with a new title set to premiere in 2026. Game of Thrones is based on the A Song of Ice and Fire book series by George R.R. Martin, which the author has expanded on with novellas like The Hedge Knight and history books like Fire and Blood. The original novels offer plenty of lore about his world's history, but these additional texts allow for a more direct focus. House Targaryen is one of the most storied families in Martin's world, as, although they arrived in Westeros thousands of years after the Starks and Boltons, their impact over the centuries leading up to Game of Thrones is more far-reaching. This makes the stories of the Targaryens continuously fascinating. A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Aerion Targaryen has one of the franchise's most brutal deaths. Aerion died screaming after consuming wildfire. A Night of the Seven Kingdoms is based on George R.R. Martin's Dunk and Egg novellas, which are often described as being more contained, character-focused stories. Although they deal with similar ideas and are set during the Targaryen dynasty, decades before Game of Thrones, they don't cover continent-altering events. With that in mind, the majority of the series will focus on the two main characters, Sir Duncan the Tall and Aegon Egg Targaryen. Other members of House Targaryen will still appear in the show, but they'll be in supporting roles, showing up infrequently as their stories play out off-screen in King's Landing. Aerion Targaryen is one of such characters. Aerion Targaryen is the second son of King Maker I Targaryen, making him Egg's older brother. While his history is documented in Martin's books, his only appearance is in The Hedge Knight, the novella which A Night of the Seven Kingdoms Season 1 will adapt. If the source material is any indicator, he'll be unforgettable. Perhaps the most memorable part of Aerion Targaryen's life for readers occurs much later in the timeline, however. Aerion decides to drink wildfire because he believes it will turn him into a dragon, and of course, it brutally kills him instead. It's stated that he dies screaming after drinking it. We've seen the effects of wildfire in GOT, so there's no understating how horrible a death it would be to drink it willingly. This is the substance that destroyed the September of Baelor in The Winds of Winter and Stannis Baratheon's fleet in Blackwater. A human being is like paper in comparison. Aerion Targaryen's death has a big connection to Game of Thrones' Mad King. Aerys wanted to transform into a dragon through wildfire. The Mad King in Game of Thrones. Wildfire plays a significant role in the lives of numerous Targaryen characters, but the most famous association, aside from Daenerys, is with King Aerys II Targaryen, also known as the Mad King. The Mad King was fascinated by wildfire, using it to destroy his enemies and the people of King's Landing alike. Toward the end of Robert's rebellion, Jaime Lannister revealed to Brienne in the books that Aerys also believed his wildfire plot would turn him into a dragon, creating a notable connection to Aerion. Unlike Aerion, Aerys never ended up being able to go through with that plot. Both Aerion and Aerys II are also two of the main, Mad Targaryens. Aerion, who's being played by True Detective, Night Country star Finn Bennett, will be much younger than the version of Aerys we saw in Bran's visions from Game of Thrones. Aerys was actually known for being a reasonably decent man in his early years, unlike Aerion, who is essentially always vile. Aerion Targaryen's death may not actually be shown in A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Akotsk takes place decades earlier on the timeline. Sir Duncan, Dunk, the Tall, Peter Claffey, walking through a village in A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Image via Max. As mentioned, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms won't be focusing on the events occurring in King's Landing, though pivotal events like the Blackfire rebellions happen around the same time, serving as a political backdrop. Whether the TV series actually progresses as far as Aerion Targaryen's death is to be seen. In the books, Aerion's death occurs in 232 AC, which is 23 years after the timeline A Night of the Seven Kingdoms Season 1 is set to follow. The third Dunk and Egg novella is only in 212, and even though Martin plans to write more, they may not reach the end of these characters' lives. There's always the possibility with adaptation that the TV show will skip ahead in the timeline for future seasons, pivoting from the Dunk and Egg tales into the King's Landing events surrounding Egg's later life. George R.R. Martin praised the new show for its accuracy to his books, though, so it seems doubtful the plot would stray off that much. With Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon being centered around succession crises, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms seems better suited to remain a contained story. The tales of Dunk and Egg have tremendous heart, and audiences deserve a story that sticks to its source material.